Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It is Wednesday, August 16th, and we are here trying to help you make sound financial decisions, whatever is going on in your life. If you've got a question, all you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and fill out the form. Now, if you want to join us live, which I absolutely encourage you to do, you should just check that box. And when Mark sends you an email after you've checked that box, please, please, please make sure you respond to him. Otherwise, you're wasting his time, and I can't have that. I can't have that. I must make Mark as productive as possible. He's incredibly productive. And while you're on the website, don't forget there's a bunch of stuff that you should check out. You should subscribe to the Jill on Money live service. This is where you have access to quarterly live webinars and lots of cool bonus content. Mark and I this week will be actually recording a couple of fun things, including old friend of the show, Chris Guillebeau. Yeah, he's the father of Side Hustle. I love that whole concept. He's got a new book out. So that's one. We're going to be talking about security with Adam Levin, but you can only get those interviews if you join Jill on Money Live. $35, access to quarterly live webinars, and lots of the bonus content that we're throwing back there. We're just going to see who follows us and how far they'll go. $35, it's cheap. All right, right now, let's get to one of you guys. It is listener Peter. Peter is on the line with us from Virginia. Hi, Peter. How are you?
Good morning, Jill. Good morning, Mark. Good to chat with y'all.
Absolutely. What's going on? How can we help you out?
Oh, so many ways, Jill. I've been a long time listener, first time caller, and you scared me enough into calling you.
Oh, why'd I scare you? Come on, it's just me. It's like, think of me as like your sister, your older sister.
So you're the derivatives trader. You know, you're always worried about worst case scenario, and I had a situation. So I tried to early retire, and it didn't exactly work to plan to offset what would be the sequence of return risks for, I guess, the COVID impact and my early retirement. I chose to mitigate it by going back to work and grinding for a few more years. So that, in other words, to be flexible, being a young retiree, I took that, go back to work due to a number of factors at home. And now I guess I think I'm ready to go back to early retirement.
Hold on a second. How old are you?
56.
56. When did you try to retire the first time?
51 and a half.
How much money did you have?
Well, I probably had around $900,000 with...
That's it?
With a $70,000 pension.
Oh, that's good. Do you have a partner who works?
I have a wife who does not work.
How about kids?
2 kids in college, thankfully both getting ready to finish in the next 9 months.
Great.
When I retired, I retired and arrested for 6 to 9 months, and then we had to move, and then COVID happened shortly thereafter, and then it was the portfolio going down 30%. In a month time, as you recall, back in, February, March of 2020, and the wife kindly spending so much on the girls in college, in spite of the fact we had a 529 for them, she definitely wanted to support them more than I was inclined to support them. They needed to have skin in the game. So it created a lot of friction, having grown up, I guess, with the scarcity mindset. Getting free lunch in school and Pell Grants and student loans. I had to go back to work to kind of right-size the ship and not knowing what was going to happen with all the uncertainty of COVID.
So now, have you retired after the first time or not?
No, and that's the decision point I'm at now. Basically, the nest egg has gotten back up.
All right.
Yes. So we're at like 1.3 million with all in plus I just bought a $430,000 house for cash.
Ooh, okay.
In a state, a very, very low tax state. Mm-hmm. So hopefully the operating cost going forward should only be about $80,000, but I'd like to have a significant travel budget to the tune of $30,000 a year.
So wait a second. Just want to make sure. So we still have the $70,000 a year pension, right?
Correct.
Okay. And that stays. Tell me the terms of that pension. Does it have a cost of living adjustment? Is there anything that happens at Social Security age? Like, what's the deal with the pension?
Sure. It is a federal employee pension, so it's cost of living adjusted. Also, because I'm, I guess, earlier than retirement age, I get that retirement annuity supplemental from the Social Security offset, if you will. So
right.
At 62, that will drop off, which will bring me down to roughly $59,000 a year from the pension forever, cost adjusted.
Okay. So you'll have 59 from that. What's the Social Security estimate for you?
So you want it at 67 or 70?
Let's do both.
At 70, it's $3,976 a month.
I'm calling it $4,000 a month. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's I did too, and that was my plan, to take it at 70.
Okay, I gotcha.
And then, $3,200 a month if it was at 67.
And your wife gets half of yours.
Right, when I put in for it. But the plan is for her to take hers early at 62. It's so I think that's going to be around $11,000 a year.
All right. Whatever, that's fine. And then she switches to yours. Now, the question I have to you is, you're 56, so we have 14 years.
Yes.
What's the game plan?
As far as what to do, or
yeah, because we could blow through that nest egg pretty quickly.
And that's a great idea, and that's one of the reasons I want to talk. I don't know if you've read Bill Perkins', Dial with Zero, the hedge fund manager's book.
Yeah, I think that's a completely ridiculous idea, but continue.
But
you have children and a wife. There's no way that's happening.
With the income floor, why isn't it possible? I'm
going to tell you, it is possible. But it's like you could really screw your survivor. What happens to your pension when you die?
She gets 50% of my $60,000. So she still, and then she'll get my Social Security. So she'll have $4,000 a month plus. She'll have almost $8,000 a month to live on. Which, Jill, when is enough? Because I
don't know, because you said 130. I was okay with $80,000 a year. You're the one who popped it to 130.
No. Actually, all right. I think 80 of essential, but 30 including travel. Oh, so did you net it up to account for taxes, or why did you net it up to? Why did you bump it up to 130? I was looking at 110.
Because you said to me, you needed you were sort of thinking about another $50,000 to do all the things you wanted to do, right?
30.
Okay, 30. Let's say even 50 though, because how much of that nest egg is pre-tax?
Say 700 or 740 is pre-tax.
Right. So okay, that's fine. They'll say about half-ish, almost. Here's my theory. I want to make sure that when we talk about this, that we are not I don't want to be blind to the risks. Because if you were to die sooner than you expect, then it is going to be tougher on your wife. There's no doubt. It's going to be tougher on her. And you do have these two kids, and it sounds like your wife and you are not quite on the same page about what you want to happen for helping these kids in the future. So I think that's a question that you guys need to talk about. I think that mathematically you can make this work. The answer is that every year you wait, it gets better. And do you hate what you do right now?
There's a small joy, and I get to travel to really amazing places with my job. Mm-hmm. But the misery in the 3 months in between the travel, and you don't know this, but I actually am living, I guess, in D.C. while she's in that other state at the moment. We're kind of balancing two households.
Oh, that's big. Okay.
It's it's twisty, Jill. It's very twisty.
I think that that's a more nuanced situation than we heard in the beginning, right? So let me ask you this. Let's say that you did call it quits, whatever, at the end of this year. is there any chance that either of you could make a little bit of like side hustle money or a little money on the side, just anything that would be coming in, at least, maybe for a couple more years or not?
I think anything's possible. I personally don't think I want to be held down or restricted. I'm not averse to seasonal work or doing something else, but I don't necessarily see the need or like you do, and that's why I was seeking yours and Mark's guidance and advice, because you guys do seem to come off more conservative in your approach, at least from listening.
You think?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And I'll just say that the health care is covered, not covered, but I get health care as through the federal employee health plan as far as a retiree. It's like $500 a month for really good coverage. I could live in a shack in the middle of an island somewhere in the South Pacific, but Mama needs a bit different accommodations, and that's some of the problem.
I mean, that's a whole nother conversation you guys need to have.
Yeah, you guys need some therapy, man.
Yes.
I mean, here's the thing. I think that this is a plan that can work if you were both on the same page. It will work better if you work another couple of years. Or, by the way, if you just even have a tiny bit of side hustle income or seasonal work, or, I mean, honestly, 25 grand a year will actually make it a lot better. Just remember, you're going to need to spend this money. You're going to have to bring, obviously until you're age 62, you've got the 70 grand a year pension. You're going to pull money out of your account, right? Between now and then to make up the difference. Every year that you spend, 80 or 90 grand versus 130 is an awesome year, because the years when you spend 130, when the markets are down, you're going to really blow through a lot of the money. I don't know if you can re-enter the workforce one more time or not. It doesn't sound like you have that in you. So before you give up this $146,000 a year, I would be crystal clear with your wife about I can do this. I need your help. I think we should go talk to somebody together. I think we really need to do this because my mental health is suffering in this arrangement, and it's not great for me or for us. And I mean, I know I'm not a shrink, but I think Mark's right that there is an issue that is bubbling beneath the surface that actually has more relevance to your game plan than the numbers. And you guys have to be on the same page to make this work. You just have to be.
I figured you were going to say that, and I think that's the handwriting on the wall on this situation. I probably could have stayed retired at 51 and a half if we would have had those conversations ironed out earlier.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, my father always used to say that he could live in a shack and this, that, and the other thing. And he was kind of full of baloney because he would say that, but he didn't really live like that. So he put a lot of stuff on my mother that wasn't entirely fair, meaning that he would say, she likes to spend on this. I'm like, okay, wait, who's the guy who likes to play golf this much? And who's the guy who really doesn't want to have to worry about money? And who's the guy, so you've got to own your own stuff also, which is if you want to spend this money that is travel and this, that, and the other, you both have some work to do. I would not quit my job, even though you hate working, until you guys really figure this out. Because, I just don't think that that's a rational choice. You may do it anyway. If you do this and you re-retire at age 56, then as many years as possible that you can keep your expenses, under 100 grand, you're going to be far better off. And I think you should really be aware of the risks that, you had ideas about hey, I want the kids to do this, that, and the other thing. And it didn't work out. Like you said, we started the conversation. I wrote this down. The plan didn't pan out as I expected. Well, if that's the case, we better make sure this plan does pan out, because you're not going to get a third chance at this one. I just don't think you will. So I think you guys need to really get on the same page. I think that working with somebody will help you. This is not really a numbers question. It's a philosophical question. I don't know, man. I think that you can do this. I think you kind of knew the answer before you got in touch with us. So I am glad that you did. I hope that I've reinforced it. you know all the other stuff, which is like you need to have your estate planning done and all that. And I don't know whether that's done or not. I'm not even going to hammer you, but you just know you have to do that. So before we let you go, Peter, is there anything else that you want to articulate to us?
Sure. Actually, I have tried to teach my young ladies the nuances of finance. I have funded their Roth IRAs with whatever income they make, so they get like a daddy double.
Nice.
So this way, they are cognizant of compounding and how the early dollars mean so much. So even with that budget, that big spend I have, that's including, continuing to facilitate their futures and ensure it's secure. It's not a totally selfish endeavor. I don't think it's
selfish. Like, it's so believable all around. It really is. And I'm not judging this at all. Okay. I really want you to know that, like, I'm responding to what you tell me. So I don't judge this. I just know I feel like I have heard this story before, and I really want to make sure that you guys are both on the same page, because more than anything else, to make the plan work, if you're on the same page, it will somehow work. It really will. But I think the difference the first time around was that you weren't on the same page, as you said. And so let's get you on the same page. Let's get this plan to work, all right?
Sounds wonderful. I'll say, Mark, thanks you for your help and your support. Jill, you're awesome as always. And thanks for helping me with my next reset.
All right. I love it. Thank you so much. If you, like Peter and his wife, have slightly different game plans, it would be fun, Mark, to have Peter and his wife on the line during this. I think that that's always an interesting conversation. I was just listening to one of my faves, Esther Perel, and she was doing a therapy session. She's a shrink. And it was great because what she did was she, could see the people on the camera, and so she could watch their body language. And then she told one of them to go in the other room, because there was like this moment where she was like, this person's clearly uncomfortable saying these words, these hard words, in the presence of the spouse. And it was interesting that what was revealed. And so what I would say to everybody is that none of us is perfect in our financial lives. And we are in partnerships. When you get married, when you're in a partnership and you're living your life, things are different. You come from different families of origin. You have different views around money. You have different reactions to those origin stories. So if you need help getting on the same page, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. Let us know if you'd be willing to come on the air. Mark, do you suspect we're going to get some mail on this one? I think we're going to get some emails on this episode. I'm interested. I'm interested in it, though. I am interested. So let us know. This is the beauty of what we do. It's a fascinating thing. The human mind, the emotional body, the finances are the least interesting part of the whole thing. So come and give us a holler, JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. Don't forget to put your hands on someone's back, either metaphorically or physically. Don't forget to get permission to do that if you're doing it physically. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.